if you think of just like the logic of lemmings or like the herd, right? When this pops, when Richard his magician hat and boom, boom, the ego shines gold, people the retail attention's drawn towards Pulse Chain. I feel like there's going to be massive amounts of your normal retail people who are like, I don't understand this. Let me just buy EHEX. Let me just buy hex, and like because they can get into that quick, still feel like they're part of it. I feel like his ego alone is going to let Ethereum Hex explode again. Period.
I don't deny for a second that money flows into EHEX, but what I can tell you is that a large portion of the original Hex sharks absolutely value PHEX far greater than they value EHEX.
I agree with you on that because every time when I watch these charts, I watch flip charts hourly for the past year and a half now. Anytime EHEX pops, as it goes down, you see it rotate into PHEX, and you see Pulsex Inc., and you kind of see it like a EHEX makes a little big pop and then starts flattening out. And like you're saying, they rotate into the Pulse Chain ecosystem or like the PHEX. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, which a lot of guys like kind of fight me on this point because I think what they don't understand is that it's good. We want that value to come to Pulse Chain because it lifts the base value of your entire chain up.
True.
More. So like yes, we do want retail money to flow into EHEX, and yes, we do want our whales and our sharks and Hex and even the smaller guys too, but to bridge in that EHEX on the Pulse Chain at the very least, right?
So yeah, I do. I did
Yeah.
mention. I wanted to mention as well that on different platforms everywhere, I saw people talking about the haters of Pulse Chain and Richard talk about how they wanted to. So you know how after shortly after the whole move from the migration from EHEX to PHEX, a lot of people were saying how like, oh, thank God, like they're not involved anymore. We can buy the EHEX freely now. So like I think you're going to see people actually keep aping into EHEX thinking that Richard is not going to mess with it anymore. They're like afraid he's going to dump it, So something like that. It's very fascinating.
True.
But getting more coins to fix a ratio. The most useful thing of Pulse is to pay for a transaction.
I understand. And
to read and write code and execute.
let me come at it this way: is if BTC and ETH are going to be relevant in 5 years, what on Pulse Chain will be relevant in 3 to 5 years, if anything? That's opinion. What token is it going to be? Ink? Is it going to be pdai? Is it going to be dai? Is it going to be Pulsex? I believe Pulsex.
Either
I believe
Pulsex, Inc., and Hex survive, or they don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be
Yes,
a one
No,
over the other.
I understand, but if
I understand what you guys are saying, though. But I understand what you guys are saying. I'm just saying. Let's say for the argument that for the sake of this argument, I represent Pulsex, and I really care about Pulsex.
Yes.
What would I do differently with Pulsex? All I'm saying is, if we were to create a liquidity on Ethereum with Pulse and Ethereum, and we create a need to be the most liquid L1 that has value backing it, technically, we could assume more value because of how things are and the way we came into the system. Pulse X could be used to amplify how much more value we can make. Like, it's all fake, right? Because it's all ratios. But I'm saying there's no difference in creating a liquidity pool with Pulse X than it is with Pulse.
It affects
all
the buy and
you're
burn.
doing, but I don't think, yes, in the quantity amounts of it, but you can't, like, let's agree that whether we burn 40 trillion or 70 trillion or 100 trillion, it still doesn't make a difference.
Well, if it's buying and burning on the
Is it
market
more
rather than
benefit?
burning half and buying half as much,
But it
that makes a
doesn't.
difference.
But it does. It's all a ratio, though. It doesn't make a difference. There's still trillions.
Well,
of
the ratio
coins, like
the ratio that matters is versus the stable coin. So if you're buying and burning stable coins for Pulsex, or if you're buying and burning Pulsex with the stable coins, that ratio matters, right?
Okay, but do you also realize that when you're buying with another token that's not Pulse, right now it goes from Pulse, it goes from the stable coin to Pulse, then into your coin. But if we did it with Pulse X, if we would have
It literally
a
just
more
it
liquid
burns
debt.
one side.
No, because it would be harder for people to take out. They would lose on slippage. So if the guy's taking out
Huh.
100K, he's taking out 95.
So disincentivizing people from buying and selling into real value
Yes, on
is,
the chain, because
I don't
then
think
we have,
that's a good idea.
but we have pools on Ethereum where you could get the full amount.
That is just convoluted, and
No, but
that is
why?
not a good
Why?
user
But
experience.
wait, Dylan, it's because I want less value on the bridge to be taken out. So if the
Well,
guy's going to
you're
take out
assuming
95, but it's not assuming, it's
Pulse has to go over the
mathematical.
bridge. Pulse
It's
has
but
to
it,
go over the bridge.
yes, but it's not taking out value. That's Pulse is worth zero
Sure, it
dollars.
is. It's just on
No,
ETH.
Pulse is always worth $0. We just give it a ratio. If we bridge over Pulse and then they sell in the Ethereum pool, it just gives an arbitrage opportunity for someone to bring back up the price for a better price. If we make them sell on Pulse chain, they have to take out a stable coin or Ethereum or Bitcoin or Coast, and they take out value from the chain. You want more value on the chain. Richard wants to keep value on the chain because that's how we're going to get people to get on our chain. So what
You
you
realize
do
that if
is
somebody sold on the ETH side, they'd have to sell it on the Pulse side too via arbitrage. You realize that, right?
that's
It's the
only
same
if
net effect.
that's only if Ethereum is worth more than Pulse. If we have more liquidity on Pulse, all they're doing is buying it cheaper on Ethereum because they sold it down. They sold Pulse down on Ethereum. Then it's a cheaper buy to buy it in Ethereum than it is on Pulse.
It's a
So
cheaper
now,
buy relative to the price on Pulse, which you would have to arb.
yes,
An
but the
arbitrage is
arb,
always a circle. You have
no,
to
but
finish the
think,
circle, otherwise it's not an
yes, but
arbitrage.
think about it. If someone removes $100,000 from Pulse Chain, it's worse than if they sell the pool for $100,000
It's the
on
same
Ethereum.
people on Pulse chain that would be on
But
Ethereum. It
it's
doesn't
worse.
matter.
It's worse to take out value from the bridge than it is to sell from the pool on Uniswap. Can we agree on that? Like the effect is way
No,
different.
it's
Why
the same
not?
effect. It's the same people buying and selling. If it was on ETH, it's the same people. You just don't have the stat of, okay, we have all this money here
No, but the
and we can
pool
see
on
it. On
Ethereum,
ETH, you wouldn't be able to see it as transparently.
the pool on Ethereum is to give you an easy way out without affecting the value that's backing the chain.
Okay, again, the value would just, instead of being on Pulse, it would be on ETH. It would still be the same value. It wouldn't change. Like, it wouldn't magically not come out of the chain because it's just on ETH.
But it's still
All the
better
value
for
would just not be on Pulse.
the eyes. It's not good to see 80 million in a bridge
So
and then to see
having
2 million
$18 million
losing.
on the bridge and everything on ETH is a good look? No.
Well, $18 million right now is a lot. Like I would say, like five right now, and we could grow it. But like 5 million, you're still giving the guy the opportunity to just sell Pulse for a better price than to get out of Pulsex, go into Pulse, then sell the Pulse, go into a coin, and bridge it over. If you were to create that, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and but it's only easy as bridging over, sell the price, give a whale opportunity to buy it for cheaper, bridge it back over, sell it down. It would just create volume. It would be burning for no reason because you just took out the money. In my
Okay,
way,
you're
it's like
creating a situation where you have to pay an in and out fee on the
man.
bridge,
We need
and
to
then you have
simulate it.
to
We need
rely
to
on
simulate
arbitrage
this.
bots,
No, but
and
we need to
yeah, and then you
simulate
pay
this because
arbitrage
I
bots
can't
to
convey
fix
my
the prices on both
mathematical.
sides. Well,
Mathematically, it's just because it's
because it
slippage
doesn't make
because of
sense.
no, but it does make sense. If I have a
It
hundred
doesn't.
thousand dollars and I want to take out from the system, it's more
All
healthy
right,
to
I'll give you an
send it
example.
over.
I will send you an address that did this. They bridged Pulse to ETH, and they sold $20 million worth of Pulse. And guess what? The
Yeah, but
ETH.
because people actually valued the opportunity of holding it. People
Imagine if
that
you
are
cut out the middleman and didn't even
but
have
because
PulseX. We'd be more valuable
right
anyway.
now in the PulseX ecosystem, it's not valuable to hold Pulse. What's valuable is the token that appreciates against it. So you're actually undermining the
Which would be
value of
Ink,
Pulse.
PulseX, and Hex.
No, which would be everything else because there's not that volume on it. Bro, everyone wants shit coins. Everyone's buying shit coins against Pulse. If they did it against Pulse X, Pulse would actually become more valuable because the only way to get Pulse X is with Pulse. So they have to give up the opportunity of
I
holding
don't
Pulse
agree with this.
versus. Okay,
Because if you
I'm saying
had, because
simulated
the
wise,
end
I think it
point,
would work.
yeah, the end point is the real value, right? Which at the moment is Pulse into stables or Pulse into ETH.
Yes, but I want to
It
turn it
doesn't
into
matter
Pulse
if
X.
it's PulseX into stables or PulseX into
No,
ETH.
it does
It
matter
still had the
because
same
you're
effect.
selling Pulse for the value. If we sold Pulse X for the value, there would just be the opportunity in the most liquid pair to bring back its pinpoint. I value
Huh?
Pulse X this much versus Pulse. The only way to get Pulse X is with Pulse. You hold Pulse to get Pulse X and you do transactions. Now you have a valuable asset that you're just holding in your pocket and saying, I don't have to get out of this. I need to get into the valuable asset with this. So if you had Pulse X on Uniswap, it would ruin the whole thing. What I want is to have Pulse in a valuable fashion, liquid fashion, where you buy Pulse because you know when you get onto Pulse chain, the most liquid tokens, the tokens that appreciate the most, are against Pulse X. And the only way to buy Pulse X at the lowest slippage is with Pulse. Now you have something that is super valuable. Why? Because everyone is buying and selling Pulse X and a shitcoin, and they're getting out with Pulse X. Therefore, the L1 maintains its value because it's not the token used to extract value.
Okay, so you've got a situation where you have all the Pulse on ETH with all the liquidity, and then you have the ability to have your coins on Pulse, but
Wait. Not all. Not all. Not
okay,
all. Some
most
of
of the
it.
liquidity.
Some of it. No, not most. Not most.
Okay, let's say half.
I think with most it wouldn't be healthy. I think there needs
Okay,
to be opportunity. I've said always there needs to be
all
the
right.
opportunity.
Okay. So you got some value on ETH, right? With Pulse to stables. Okay. Then you go over the bridge. All right. Now you're on Pulse chain and you have Pulse. So now you take your Pulse, you buy Pulsex, and then you buy your coin. Okay. There's 3 extra steps there than just buying Pulse with your ETH and then buying the coin. There's 3 extra steps. Why is that a good customer experience than just having you bridge
There's one
over and
extra
you
step.
buy?
There's one extra step. There's one extra step, which is Pulse to Pulse X.
Well, you buy ETH.
There's one extra step because you still have to bridge over. You still need to buy,
Hold on.
right?
No,
So
there's
only
multiple
one
extra
extra
steps
step.
because you
No, there's
have
one extra step.
bridge over,
Yeah,
take your stable,
yeah.
buy Pulse, buy the shitcoin.
Okay.
Okay.
But why
Now
can't
the
I?
other,
But wait. How is there more when it's buy, use stable, buy Pulse, bridge it over, buy Pulse X, use the coin?
there's 3 steps on bridge it over, buy Pulse, buy your shitcoin. There's 3 steps.
And you're telling me it's not better for Pulse X to have that extra step from Pulse to Pulse X? It's
No,
not better?
it's convoluted.
Why?
You
Why?
have the
You
other
create a better
side where
appreciation.
you go okay. You have your coin, your stable coin. You buy Pulse. You bridge it over.
Yeah,
You buy Pulsex.
yeah,
Then you buy shitcoin.
yeah,
That's 4 steps.
yeah. Okay, and then when
What?
you need to sell, what do?
You do it all over again.
No, you have to take out the value to go the other side because there's no initial get in. You have to understand, you're saying there's extra steps, but there's one extra step. One extra step, the way I'm suggesting it, which is the most valuable point because it's assuming value on the most valuable chain. I'm in the Coca-Cola factory selling Coca-Cola.
It's not. It's not how it works. You could just have a pool on Pulse chain or on ETH with Pulse to real value, and you can have the value of Pulse chain into the Bitcoin that you want. It's the same $20 million on Pulse. It doesn't like that doesn't make more customers come here. You know what I mean? What makes more customers come here would arguably be FOMO of price appreciation, right?
No. Wait. Now you're saying people come here. Technically, we don't know which one is going to bring more people here. Because if people just hold Pulse, they're here. You can agree with that, right? Like getting on the chain has nothing to do with liquidity on Ethereum or liquidity on Pulse chain.
Well, then why are we arguing about being on ETH?
We would need to create a simulation to show mathematically what happens. Because the way I see it is like, it's like no, there's nothing wrong. It's just like the way I see that putting Pulse on Ethereum is there's nothing wrong.
You're
It's not
trying to
like
make the
there's like
best case scenario for Pulsex to go up, and I just think
I'm
it's
just I'm
futile. Like it doesn't
Okay,
matter.
look, Giga's back now, guys. Giga's back now. Okay, Giga. Can
Giga
Pulsex
is the
not be
minter.
used is the same way as ink can be used?
Wait,
In governance.
say that again. Sorry, I can't.
Can Pulsex be used the same way as ink in governance?
Lol. No,
no. I said they have the same delegation functions in the code.
they don't.
They have the same code. Yes, they
Exactly. They
do.
don't.
Bro, they have the same functions. What do you mean? Go pull up the contracts.
That's why I just wanted to reiterate. You're still better swapping into its primary pair first before going into the other pair. So you're still going to get better order execution if you go from like if there's let's say there's a T-bill teddy bear token, right? Pair. You're still better
Yeah,
swapping
there
into
is none.
there, even though you're trying to get into pdai, which is the third step of that route.
No, there is no teddy bear and pdai. Sorry, T-bill and
Yeah.
pdai.
I'm just saying, like, as an example, if it's like
Oh, so
basically
if
a
there was,
3 jump,
okay,
you're
yeah,
still
yeah, yeah,
better off swapping into the second jump and then your second jump and
and
your third
then
jump
doing it.
separately.
Okay, yeah, 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 I get you.